Hello, everyone, and welcome to Exploring Cinema. I'm Nate.
And I'm Dylan.
And I'm Adam.
And we are continuing with kind of a beginning of 2024 theme for the first handful of episodes here in January. And for this episode, we thought it would be fun to kind of take the whole idea of New Year's resolutions and apply it to the show here.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is we've each got watch lists a mile long. And so we're going to be prioritizing those a little bit for you. And so today we're each going to be sharing 5 movies that we are prioritizing for 2024 that we want to make sure we get to this year.
Yep. This is the year 2024. No more. We're finally going to knock these out, and it's a little bit of accountability because then at the end of the year we can go back and revisit these, and either you're going to lie and be like, yeah, I saw the movie, it really lived up to my expectations, or you'll have to admit that you did not pull the resolution. So I think it'll be fun. It's a fun little exercise here.
Yeah. How did you guys kind of narrow yours down? For me, I just basically went with movies that, okay, how many times have I told myself I'm going to watch this and then didn't?
Okay. Yes. Yep. That's a good barometer.
That was sort of because, we've all got 500 plus movies in our watch list, a bunch of really good movies we want to see. And that was kind of how I narrowed it down. It was like, okay, I've told myself like 10 times in the last 3 years that I'm going to watch this movie.
Yep.
And it just still hasn't happened.
Mine was much of like, I was trying to remember the ones that you guys have told me like, hey, you should really watch it. I know you're going to love it. But like, I mean, there's 1,000 of those for me. So I basically went to your top 200 list and was like, oh, I remember that one. Like, I got to watch this one, Nate. Like, I got to watch this one. I got to watch. And then, so I made a huge list and then kind of parsed it down from there. So that's
awesome.
what I did.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
A few weeks ago, I unfortunately had COVID. So I was out of work for 3 days. So I had like a 5-6 day weekend. And I had a little movie marathon. And so the way my barometer was, all the ones that I just couldn't fit into the movie marathon that either just didn't feel right, I wasn't in the mood for, but it was all ones that I had considered and that just didn't quite make the cut. So that helped a little bit for me. I feel like if I hadn't gotten sick, probably all 5 would have been ones that I actually watched during COVID. So it was interesting.
Awesome. So Dylan, do you want to kick things off?
I do want to kick things off. All right. So I've got 5 here, no particular order, but kind of a loose order just on the order I wanted to talk about them with. And the first one is going to make you happy, Nate. And it's Mikey and Nikki from 1976.
Yes.
Which is a movie that you, right after seeing it, were like, oh my God, Dylan, you would love this. And you have just repeatedly told me that. And it looks like my kind of movie. It sounds like, I mean, there's no reason not to. I just haven't gotten to it yet. The description on IMDb, Nikki is on the run from the mob and he turns to his old pal Mikey for help. I mean, boom. Come on.
That's also easy. Just like the cast. There's a cool story behind that movie too, but I finished watching it and I just immediately thought, this is a Dylan movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie that he's going to like more than I do. Like that, it's to that level. Like I thought it was good, but this felt like one of those movies where if you had watched it before me, you would have just like immediately been like, dude,
you got to see this.
Yeah.
And then we would have watched it together and you wouldn't have liked it as much. And then I probably would have been like, oh, that makes sense afterwards.
Right. So we do it this way instead. So it's just more of it just goes up.
Yeah. Yep. Just going to boost it. Just talk about it.
Yeah.
Build all the hype.
Yeah. So Mikey and Nikki this year, hopefully soon. It's just sitting there on Criterion every time I open the app. Okay. The next one, this one's a little weird, but it's been on my watch list for so long. This is like one of the first 5 movies I put on my watch list when we first started using Letterboxd. I don't know how I came across it, whatever, but it's Uncle Boon Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives.
Oh yeah, this one looks super weird.
Yes, super weird. I don't know if you or Adam, if you haven't heard of it, if you want to just Google it real quick. The imagery is intriguing.
Those eyes.
Uncle Boon Me?
Uncle Boon Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives.
Is this like a Taiwanese movie or something like that?
Yes, I believe. Yeah. I think Thailand. Dying of kidney disease, a man spends his last somber days with family, including the ghost of his wife and a forest spirit who used to be his son, on a rural northern Thailand farm.
Ooh.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Actually, like
It just, it so intrigues me. Like,
It intrigues me for sure. It's not on my list for today, but it's also on my watch list.
yeah, I think I saw you had it on
ooh,
there.
when you watch this, I'd like to see it.
Okay, maybe this could be a group viewing. We'll have a separate list of ones that we say where we all three are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should we just have 1 month where we just do like weird movies?
Just the
Yeah,
strangest things
I
we
think
can
so.
find.
Yeah.
Anything
so.
Yorgos.
Holy Motors.
Yeah, we already watched Mad God or whatever.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have to watch that again.
Mhm.
Okay. The next one, number 3, is Holy Motors from Yes. Yes. I mean, I don't even really understand what it's about.
Nobody does.
A man boards a limousine to be driven to his day's work. 9 mysterious appointments. Have either of you guys seen it?
No,
I haven't. I've thought about watching it about 180 times.
Yeah. Yes.
So
And
it's very appropriate for this episode.
And this was on the COVID list for me. Like every day it was like, is this going to be the day? And it just didn't fit. And then it got to the last day and I was like, oh God, it's just not going to make the cut. It's just not, like, because I had to end it with Sing Street, which, would have been on this list if I hadn't watched it. And Nate, you were right. That was lovely. But yeah, so this is still hanging on. But yeah, Holy Motor, I think it's a French movie.
I think so. It's Carax is the director, however you pronounce that. Probably don't pronounce like half the consonants.
Yeah, it says French, countries of origin, France, Germany, Belgium, languages, French, English, Chinese. So
yeah. So
what's going on?
I'm very intrigued.
Dude, I just pause for a hot second. Kylie Minogue and Eva Mendes are in this movie. Those are the names I recognize. What the fuck?
So random.
Yeah, in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, so next, this one we discussed on a little episode we did a little bit of I can't remember how long ago, maybe a year ago, where we each like admitted to movies that we had never seen, and then we picked one and forced them to watch it. So this one was on that list, but Thelma and Louise from 1991.
Yeah.
I still have not seen it. It's such a part of the culture, referenced all the time, the iconic imagery. I just need to sit down and watch it. So this is the year 2024, Thelma and Louise. It's happening. And then the last one, you probably, if you really know me well, Nate, you probably see this one coming, but this is the year 2024 from 1981, Das Boot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
My
happening.
dad told me to watch that movie so many times.
It's happening this year. 2 hours.
Watching it together, then I will join you in this venture under the sea, even though
it absolutely will.
It might kill me.
1981, written and directed by Wolfgang Peterson. A German U-boat stalks the frigid waters of the North Atlantic as its young crew exposes the sheer terror and claustrophobic life of a submariner in World War II. 8.4 on IMDb.
That sounds awesome.
With my fear of drowning, this might be like, if I watch it and like it, it might be my #1 horror movie of all time.
Same. That's how I feel about it too. That's probably why I put it on so long, because it's like, oh man, like that stuff, the open water, deep water, drowning, claustrophobic, and that really gets to me. So it can be hard to commit to over 2 hours of that. But if you're in, maybe we overcome it together. Adam, it sounds like you're really intrigued. I know you love like naval movies, submarine movies, so that can be another one. We can do Uncle Boon Me and Das Boot.
That Tom Hanks, that Tom Hanks World War II movie Greyhound was the movie that almost killed the Speak Film and Enter podcast.
Legendary split. I'm surprised you're even bringing that up. Risky movie.
Risky. Well,
but yeah, so those are my 5. Those are my 5 right there. I'll just run through them again really quick. Mikey and Nikki, Uncle Boon Me, who can recall his past lives, Holy Motors, Thelma and Louise, and Das Boot.
That's a great list.
That's a good list. Yeah, I can go next.
All right.
Go for it.
My list is not as eclectic. I think I'm probably the one out of the 3 of us who sees the least amount of movies. And I wouldn't say I'm not adventurous, but because I don't watch a lot of trailers and stuff, I don't go digging for a lot of things.
All the Hunger Games movies.
All like 12 of them or whatever we're at now. So I'm starting with a lot of my stuff's more recent. I'd say a lot of my stuff is probably like the 90s, but number 5, this one's early. This is only a couple years old. This is La La Land. Nate has told me to watch this a million times, knows I'm going to like it. I'm really going to enjoy the musical aspect of it. And it's Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone being incredible.
For sure.
and I don't really know much else. It's obviously the love letter to Hollywood from Hollywood. So, and that's always fun.
About Hollywood too.
Yeah, every sink your teeth in bit, like
mailed from one address in Hollywood to another address in Hollywood.
So I'm sure that'll be fun. And at least it'll be like exciting and not so like serious all the time. So I'm gonna do that one. My next one was The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I have not seen this. This was a major cultural turning point, I think, for our generation, or even maybe like Gen X. Maybe it was just a little bit I was a little bit too young for it. It's 98, so I was 7. So I think it's time to get to the references.
To meet the dude.
Yeah, I mean the humor really applies to it's really accessible, but I suppose.
I mean, to a 7-year-old, I'm not sure I would have gotten it anyway. I liked it. So that'll be fun, and I'm definitely going to try to watch that with you guys, just because those are the ones that
I
people
will watch
like.
that movie anytime anybody wants to.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because me and Nate both hadn't seen it until recently, or I hadn't seen it until very recently.
It was like 2 years ago. You watched it, Dylan, and then I think like 3 days later, I was like, "Well, I guess I have to now." Yeah, and then I watched it like 5 times in a month.
Yeah, yeah. So join the party.
Yeah, maybe we can grab our buddy Steve. He'll probably enjoy that as well.
I think Steve's a big Lebowski fan.
Yeah, that'd be a fun little movie night. So, the next one I have, L.A. Confidential from '97.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking Nate's language.
Yeah, like I said, I went to his list and did go through and like, all right, I know I've been told to watch this. I know I've been told to watch this. I know I've been told to watch this, and it's time to get to it. It's what, like 3 hours, 2.5 hours.
It's like 220.
Okay, I should probably look at it. Yeah, 218. It says
very manageable length.
Yeah. Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito, like David Strathairn, like
a
lot of those names are things that people we've talked about on this pod quite a bit. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that. And the last two, I think Nate and I have been talking about trying to watch this movie for, I don't know, since we met. And these next two, I think we're going to have to just watch both of them together, the three of us. But this one is The Fugitive. From 93.
If there is one movie, Adam, that I think you would love, it's The Fugitive.
I think it's
seriously,
I don't know how I haven't seen it. I've seen parts of it, like very briefly. There's a reference in a Scrubs episode to The Fugitive with like the janitor being somebody that was in the movie or something like that. That I don't quite understand the reference, but like
he is in the movie.
I know. Yeah, I got to see it, and like I told Nate about it when we talked about it when it was like he told me the story of his mom's favorite movie or the whatever.
This episode is not long.
We don't need that. We've already talked about it. We've already talked about it. But so that whole issue, we'll get into that another time. Maybe when we do the episode for it.
Yeah.
But that's been on the list for way too long. We just haven't gotten together and actually sat down and watched it. And then the last one. From 1996, something we all have to watch together as Minnesotans is Fargo.
Oh God, yeah, you still haven't seen Fargo. Wow.
So and there's a TV show for it now that I'm just like I see ads for. And I'm like I don't really want to get into that.
Oh yeah, you should ruin it.
So like
kind of get the whole vibe.
Especially because there's a strong reference to the movie in season 1.
Okay.
Of Fargo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just out of respect.
Yes. The original. It's a great movie.
Yeah. For how much ingrained it is into like the culture of the Midwest and Minnesota itself, it's just got to be seen. There's no way around it anymore. I'm old enough. I should finally
you can handle it.
I should buckle down and I should handle it.
Yeah,
and take care of business. Yeah. So just to go through mine again, it's La La Land, The Big Lebowski, L.A. Confidential, The Fugitive, and Fargo. So
obviously, I love that list.
Yeah, that is
right up your alley. So
these are like all 5-star movies for me, basically.
it helps. It helps.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
So I've got a few more, some older movies.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with Tokyo Story from 1953, directed by Yasuhiro Ozu.
Okay.
This is just one of those movies that shows up on the best movies of all time lists all the time. And I've almost pressed play on it like a dozen times in the last 2 years.
Okay.
And just thought, not right now. Cause it's one of those movies that I want to be able to like fully devote my attention to.
Yeah.
And if I'm racing even like a little bit or a little distracted, I just don't want to play it. Also because it's an Ozu movie and those are very kind of slowly, deliberately paced. I've seen 2 of his movies already. I really like both of them.
Okay.
But it's one that I'm going to have to be fully prepared for it. So that's Tokyo Story from 1953, which is, if you're not familiar with it, I guess it's about an elderly couple that goes to visit their children who are adults in Tokyo, and they haven't seen each other for a while. And then it's kind of the kids just don't really have time for them. I think Ozu made a lot of movies about kind of generational conflict in like 40s and 50s and 60s in Japan, like post World War II.
Yeah.
Generational conflict. So I think this is going to be great. And I just think it's about time. And like you said, Dylan, this will kind of force me to finally watch Tokyo Story. And then going to stay in Japan for the second one here from 1962. And that is Harakiri.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I think is the highest rated movie on Letterboxd.
Is it still?
Ooh.
I think it is.
Wow.
If I go back and find the top 250, it is. It's number 1, and Come and See is number 2.
Oh boy. Yeah, neither one of you want to watch that this year? You're still gonna.
I thought about putting that on this list
by myself, huh?
Maybe a double feature with Das Boot.
I can't be the only one with that movie burned into my brain.
I'll get to it. I just didn't want to put it on this list.
Fair enough.
Harakiri is just a really interesting looking samurai movie. And again, just like so highly rated. This is the one I've like thought about watching the least amount of times, but it's kind of vaulted towards the top of my list just because the reviews are insanely good. And then the next one I've thought about watching many, many, many times, and that is also from 1962, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird.
I didn't know you haven't seen this.
It's another reason. It's one of those movies that people just assume that I've seen.
Oh man, I totally assume.
Well, because everybody reads that book in school, or like a lot of
I never read it
do,
in school, and a big
Yeah.
part of it is because I just keep thinking I should read the book first. I should read the book first. I should read the book first, and I just keep not reading the book.
Well, I have.
I'm going to give the book one more try at some point this year, and if it's just taken me too long or whatever, then I'm going to watch the movie this year for sure.
Okay.
But I am going to try the book first again. And then jumping to the 90s, this just feels so much like it could be one of my favorite movies, and it's really long, so it's really intimidating. 1991 from Edward Yang, A Brighter Summer Day.
I thought you had watched this one as well.
Nope, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
It feels like a movie made specifically for me.
Yeah.
It's just under 4 hours long.
Okay, there's an obstacle.
And that's just a boy experiences first love, friendship, and injustices growing up in the 1960s Taiwan.
Oh man, okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be amazing. It's super long. I've almost watched this many, many times.
Okay.
So finally motivating myself to get there. And then this one is going to be a very different feel from all the other movies I've listed already.
Okay.
This is 2013, and I've thought about watching this a lot as well. And that is directed by Spike Jonze, Her.
Oh, okay. The Joaquin Phoenix movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard
Also,
good things, to be honest.
I looked at this again, and the cast is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson, who I believe voices the...
Yep,
she does.
voices her.
I've seen it.
Yeah, and then Amy Adams, Rooney Mara, Chris Pratt, Olivia Wilde, Portia Doubleday, Spike Jonze, Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Brian Cox.
Dang.
This cast just looks bananas.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get something from like 2010 or later in there, and this just felt like the one that I've just kind of been staring at the longest. So I think it's finally time for me to watch Her in 2020.
Okay, I'd watch that with you. I mean, I'd watch most of these with you, but I would watch this one with you because I've been meaning to see this as well. Obviously, like you said, our lists are 2 miles long with the names.
So I'll just recap mine again really quickly because you guys did yours. I had Tokyo Story, Harakiri, To Kill a Mockingbird, A Brighter Summer Day, and Her. I
love it. I feel like just we can look at these lists, and I think it'd be really fun to pick 3 of them. And one of these really cold, terrible winter weekends, if we're all around, I would do a movie marathon. I'd watch 3 of these.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of these 15 movies are going to turn into Exploring Cinema episodes?
That's what I'm saying, and that would be fun too. I feel like off the top of my head, I feel like The Fugitive, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Das Boot would be
a fun little
triple feature for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Adam has one that neither me or Nate has seen, right?
Yeah, you guys have definitely seen all of mine.
So in that case, I think we should do The Fugitive because we've been talking about it forever, and it's such an Adam movie. And then we should also pick 2 movies that from mine and Nate's list that none of us have seen, and just kind of experience it together. And
just kind of jump in.
Boot, like, I mean, the fact that me and Nate are both kind of scared and Adam is like excited, like we should all watch it together.
I'll really enjoy it. Like, ooh,
I'm gonna need support.
Yeah.
I would say for my list, if we're doing like one of these as a group, I feel like Harakiri might be the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it? I guess my only thing was is that pretty long or not?
It's a little over. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay,
that's doable. Yeah.
It's 6 minutes shorter than To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. No, I like that. But yeah, we can discuss it more. But something along those lines, I think, would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little time.
Well, this was a really fun episode. It was fun to hear kind of what you guys are prioritizing this year, for lack of a better word. And Adam, I will watch any 5 of those with you anytime you want.
For sure.
We'll figure it out. We have the rest of January, most of January, and all of February to get through. So it finally started snowing and it's cold. So it's time.
And then in 12 months, next New Year, we'll do a recap and we'll have a little honesty session and see how many of these we got to.
Yeah, and then a new list.
December at some point.
Yeah, around Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's my turn to put a wrap on the show.
Take it away.
All right. I miss the cameras. They used to be heavier than us. Then they became smaller than our heads. Now you can't see them at all.